Hello everybody, Revenov back here again with another video for you. This time, I am drawing my OC original character, Divia. I did this piece for a collaboration event for an art community that I'm a part of, which is called Artist Apiece. It's on Facebook and open to anybody who wants to join. You need to fill out their application form first upon entry, which is then reviewed by the mods because they gotta filter out the good people. And when I mean good, I mean people who are actually taking art seriously or just want to be part of a good community. So I highly encourage everybody to go down and populate the damn place because they need some love. Whether you are an artist yourself in any kind of craft or just a consumer of art as well. But in this particular place, I found a lot of good artist friends and people who are also on the same wavelength. Everyone just trying to either start or who are looking to help and make friends. Think of it as another social platform similarly to DeviantArt, only a little more closely knitted since we're still quite a small group. So everyone is still a little more focused on building close relationships, getting honest and very constructive feedback. And because there are a lot of underappreciated artists, I think that this is a really good place to go because we highly encourage engagements and providing support to any artist, whether you're a beginner or not. We also have this thing every Friday where everybody throws in their socials and their links to their art pages so that everybody gets exposure and just a lot of support in general. The groups even developed a Discord, so if you're interested in being there and not lurking around on the Facebook group chat, then you can go there too. And the one thing nice about being a part of a smaller community is definitely more visibility and exposure for artists who find it a lot more challenging, especially in other very saturated platforms. Second of all, these guys are not getting paid to do any of the engagement work or hosting the events. It's all purely dedication here. So the one thing I could do is throw in some support in there for the fam. If you're interested in joining, I will put the link in the description below. Back to the piece at hand, the collab theme was DND characters. And I decided that instead of making a brand new character, why not throw in one of my already existing ones? And I thought, why not one from way back in my childhood that snowballed my creativity to the way that it is today? After all, this character started in a D&D experience as well. So the story starts off with Divia and her sister Irenia, which is also my best friend's character. We both brought them into one world together. And they both grew up in Earth, later defined as the netherworld in the other place that they travel to. At some point in their life, they end up passing through a portal which takes them to Alcaias, and this is where the entire premise of the story continues. The two girls are tasked to fulfill the prophecy. The sisters gather their ragtag team to stop the forces of the Order, an organization built to carry out genocide of Alcaias' founding beings. And man, we started this since primary, I think. Yeah, I think I was still in primary. And we finally finished it in around 2017, I think. And the reason why it took years was also because we would oftentimes forget where we left off of, started anew, decided we didn't want this character in there or that character in there, and we had fillers. Loads and loads of fillers. That's also probably because when we were reaching the end game, we realized that we just didn't want it to end. We were so engrossed in the story and its characters that we would always be putting a halt to it somewhere in between, and then we try to create another story just to put a hold on the first one. We get carried away with that. Sometimes we forget the plot again, then we have to go back to it. But like all good things, this one also did come to an end. So I hold a special place in my heart for Divia, just as I'm sure that my best friend feels the same way about her OC as well, Irenia. It's kind of funny because since we were best friends, we just decided, oh hey, why don't we just make them sisters? And that's how it all began. As for the conceptualization of her sword, I had an obsession growing up with big swords. Namely, it was inspired by Ichigo's sword from Bleach. There was also the Buster sword from Final Fantasy and the Fierce Deity sword from Zelda. I think a lot of the reasons why I liked it so much was because to a normal person, you can't lift something that big. Or maybe if you could, you have to be super strong to do it. And I guess the concept of raw power was just appealing to me at the time. And so I thought, hey, why not just slap that on that girl then? So I decided to give Divia a big ass sword. Then I also thought, okay, magical world, sword, what else can I do to give this girl some spark? And I also was very much into dragons at the time. And this was all before I learned about things like Skyrim or even D&D in itself. I just like the concept of your Western dragon, so I figured, why not turn Divia into a dragon? Thus I granted her the powers of a dragonkin. So her abilities also include being able to turn into a dragon. But she can also blow fire right out of her mouth, even in her human form. Of course, these are not abilities that she gets right off the bat. Her sister, and her entire team make their journey all the way through to develop these abilities over time. I've written a whole lore about it, how they came to be, what the limitations are, and at what stage you achieve this specific ability. And I just ended up bloody slapping my face as I grew older and I realized, wow, this is already a thing! Of course it's been thought of 10 million years ago by other people. But then I remembered everything is inspired by something else. And I'm not sure where it may have come from, where I may have gotten that idea, even though I wasn't exposed to any of these things in the past. But I'm glad I thought about it anyways, because I still had a lot of fun and I still put my own spin on things, or at least I like to believe I did. As for her design, I guess I can kind of give credits to my mom here. She's always been a fashionista growing up. I don't have the same awesome tastes that she does. She can really experiment with clothes and get really funky with it. But I wanted to move a little bit away from the whole armor thing. Although when I did draw her war getup, it looked pretty badass to me. I took into account an artist in the animation industry that said the reason why a lot of their characters are very simple looking is also because it's going to be very difficult to draw them continuously with all of the detail intact. It's just not that practical. And my child mind decided, hey, if I ever decide to make this go public, if I ever decide to animate this, then you might want to tone down on the details. And that's also why I decided to give her a more modern look. Besides, she's a dragonkin, she has tougher skin anyway, so it's okay not wearing too much armor in the first place. She'll be alright. And she has the flexibility to move around still. So fashion and function, I guess. Or at least that's what I was hoping to achieve. As for her attitude, she's a little bullheaded, but I guess that I decided to make it a main trait for dragonkins in general. Which is fine, because her sister is a lot more level-headed than she is, and tends to keep her and her mischievous friends in line. As for the story of Alcaias, though that may have concluded, my best friend and I have actually started another one following 2 generations after that, I believe, with an entirely different evil in itself. And we've also learned a lot from our past. And because we're older now, we have a lot more thought about what goes into the process, how the story is structured, how character development takes place, and I've become so invested in this that we've actually gone out of our way to write down our ideas and what we've enacted. We've actually started recording our game sessions and started editing them. I would add sound effects and music in the back. So it's almost like an RP podcast. We've even gotten my best friend's younger sister involved as a consumer of our little story. I'm not sure if we'll ever reenact the OG story, the one that Divia's from, but if ever we do, I might let you guys know, if ever you're all interested in hearing about it. But this is really more of a passion project than anything, built upon years of friendship and fun, and us just being creative and doing whatever made us happy at the time. Talking about all this often makes me wonder if there are other people who do the same thing. If they also act out multiple characters simultaneously and smack dab everything into one big story. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that actually do. And if you're one of those people, I definitely want to hear what you have. What stories you could share, and maybe even contribute to this already growing new plot that my best friend and I have been working on. Let me know of your magical adventures down in the comment section below. I'll see you guys next time. Revenov out.